now, here is singer-songwriter, broadcaster, audio-video artist, entertainment agent, and your host for the Dharmic Evolution. It's the master storyteller himself, James Kevin O'Connor.
And welcome back again to the Dharmic Evolution. Hey, she's back with a fresh and sparkling summer jam. Under the Sun, which is the new video from this artist, it feels as though it's infused with sunshine and a free spirit. It's reflective of the transformation this 21-year-old singer-songwriter experienced after taking the year 2018 to lay down her career moves, move to New York for 6 months, and dig into her creative roots. If one thing is clear, it's that summer is here, and so is a new era for this artist. She has been described as a soul pop singer-songwriter with hints of jazz. Her southern roots emit a unique vocal character that is both silky and raspy. She plays the keys and guitar and thrives in front of a crowd. Her desire is to spread joy, light, and love as she connects with people through her lyrics and music. You better strap up your seatbelts, because we're taking a ride today with Kylie Odetta on the Dharmic Evolution. Wonderful day today to have Kylie Odetta back for the second time on the Dharmic Evolution. Kylie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, first and foremost, I immediately recognized that you have your voice shifted a little bit, you know, a lot actually. I hear some like deeper tones, which is so cool, like a soulful edge or something going on with, and it was just, I mean, not that there was anything, you know, wrong with the way you're singing 2 years ago, but time has a way of changing us constantly, and in your case, the maturity is just all the better, and the richness is just really wonderful there. Yeah,
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, so there's so much to catch up on, so let's get rocking and rolling here. So tell me first about your trip to New York. That was really cool. You took a whole year to kind of like reinvent, you know, yourself, and like I'm sure there was a lot of meditation and things going on, soul searching. So can you give us a glimpse what that was about?
Yes. So last year around this time, actually, I just had reached this point where I felt I was a little bit empty on the creativity scale. And I didn't know, I was doing all these career moves, but I wasn't really having the passion for songwriting and music like I have had my whole life. And I had just got caught up, I think, in that sort of grind and chasing of your dreams type thing. And I had lost kind of the sense of who I wanted to be and what I even wanted to say as an artist, you know?
Right.
And so I really pulled back the reins on pursuing my career in like a fast-paced way, I guess you could say. And I kind of just wanted to dig into the roots of being creative and writing for fun, you know, and just like enjoying what I have always loved, which is music and writing and lyrics and poetry and all that. And so the opportunity to go to New York for a music production program came about, and it was 3 months long, and I had some family who lived up there. And so they let me stay with them while I was doing the program. And it was just honestly the most amazing experience, because I completely got out of my comfort zone and anything I was used to. And I had done lots of traveling, and so I had been in big cities before, but to actually live in one was a totally unique and awesome experience. New York is inspiring and challenging all at the same time. And so it was really cool to just kind of get outside of myself and almost just remember what it's like to be a normal human being, and, you know, do simple things and be in that learning mode rather than a working mode, because I hadn't been in that environment for over 5 years. And so to be a student again was really cool and gave me a whole new perspective on things. And then because at that time I wasn't really playing a lot of shows, which I had been doing for years, like multiple shows a month. And I had about 3 months where I only played one show in that whole 3 months, which was a big difference for me. And it gave me a huge hunger and craving for live music again. And so it's like I kind of stripped back away from all the things that I was used to doing. And because of that, my passion and hunger for it came back like full force.
Wow. Whereabouts in New York were you?
I was living in Cobble Hill, Brooklyn.
Oh, okay, awesome. So what a vibrant place to be as far as artistic development. You know, yeah, that's awesome. And you know, just it kind of, you know, when you started talking about that, I can definitely see where when you get caught up, because you're a really good marketer, and you know, I so admire you and your mom, how you guys like get out there on the front lines, and it's a tremendous amount of work to carve out a career and do all of the things, the promotion and everything. So I can see where you can get like caught up in that so much that, oh man, when am I going to write? You know, it's like, this is who I am. I'm supposed to be writing. I'm supposed to be a songwriter, not, you know, a marketer.
Yep.
So it must have been really wonderful to come back to that and feel that source again, opening up.
It was so refreshing. It was literally like for a whole year, I felt totally dried out. And then in New York, even in the beginning, I wasn't writing any songs. I was writing poems, actually. And that's what was just naturally flowing out of me. I would be on the subway or, you know, sitting in a cafe or something, and all this poetry would just like flood through me. And I could not write a song to save my life, though. I would sit down and try it. I'm just like so frustrated. And so I just kind of was like, whatever, I'm just going to put this aside and do what's coming naturally. And I think out of the flow of that is when it kind of released the floodgates for music to come back into the picture, because I was just naturally writing what was flowing through me rather than trying to force something.
Did you find that to be a really, as you got into it, wasn't that a kind of a rewarding exercise, though, to just focus on the poetic part of the music?
Yeah.
You know, because I'm sure other doors opened up that wouldn't have opened if you were just sitting in front of a piano or a guitar, you know?
Absolutely. I feel like it gave me a lot. The whole New York experience in this whole year, including poetry, gave me a lot of freedom, I feel like, to write in a way that's not limited, you know, to a specific style or theme, but just truly what's coming from my heart and what I've experienced, and also in whatever style that comes through that, you know?
Right.
Because with poetry, it's essentially a song kind of without the musical component, you know. It's still rhythmic and at times, and it's emotional, and it was just really freeing to kind of write this I guess flow of thoughts rather than trying to formulate it into verse chorus and add music or whatever, but to just have this stream of consciousness almost that ended up being beautiful. Was really kind of inspiring for my music as well, to let it flow more naturally.
Yeah. You know, and I noticed just a wee touch of that wonderful Southern drawl came off of you from being in New York, I bet. I mean,
it's really funny. You go to the city and it's like it highlights all the things about you that you already had, but maybe they were just kind of floating around inside of you, and they definitely become sharpened and more defined. When you're in a city with so much diversity, it's like you really find out who you are.
Yeah, it's true. People pick up on, you know, you always have the accent. Wherever I go, they always know you're from New York or New Jersey. You're not from around here. You know, what are you doing in Nashville or whatever?
Yep.
You know, you're in North Carolina still, right?
I'm in South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina. That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, so let's not keep them in suspense. What do you say we start with Sunny Day?
A sunny day when you knocked upon my door. Oh, I got a different kind of feeling, the kind I never had before. I thought this was quite the coincidence. Then you blushed, and I felt my cheeks flush as well. What a perfect way to spend the day, just dreaming. Way to spend the day, just honeydew, baby blue, sugar bee, love me. Way to spend the day, just hoping you feel the same. I'm falling way over the moon, like spring in full bloom, ba-dum, boom, boom, boom. Cherry pie, cupcake, buttercup, love me. I got the tingles in my toes, I got the twinkles in my eyes, I got the butter heartbeat pounding, breath short of air. What a perfect way to spend the day, just dreaming. Way to spend the day, just honeydew, baby blue, sugar bee, love me. Way to spend the day, just hoping you'll feel the same. I'm falling way over the moonlight, springing for a bloom, ba-dum, boom, boom, boom. Cherry pie cupcake, buttercup, love me.
That was really, really awesome. Sunny day. So that kind of says it all about the way you were feeling, isn't it? Doesn't it?
Yes.
So can you give us a time frame? Was that, I'm assuming that was written in Brooklyn, or was
Sunny
it?
Day actually was written a long time ago.
Oh, was it? Okay.
So, yeah, it was written like 6 or 7 years ago, but then I didn't record it until later on.
I hear a little rewrite coming.
Yep.
Is that what happened? Yeah.
I've had a couple of songs like that I wrote a long time ago, and then I kind of just brushed them off or forgot about them. And what happened with that one is I had started playing it live with my band, and it was just such a feel-good song. And I was like, I have to record this because it just makes you feel good, and sometimes we need one of those.
Yeah. Isn't that something how, a song is never like, it's never really a throwaway, because, I had the same thing happen to me that I had written decades before, and it was very early in my career, and I bought a new guitar recently, and it takes me forever to buy a new guitar, and all of a sudden this song came back, and I rewrote it, at a more mature level now. But it's like, isn't that great when you're your own, like, you put the work in, the time, and that thought came from somewhere. So it's great that it's not a throwaway,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing is wasted.
Yeah, for sure. So give me some more, of your experiences in New York. Like, what was the most fun thing for you, do you think, just being in it? And was it all that you thought it was going to be when you stayed there for that time frame?
Oh, gosh. I kind of went into it with no expectations in a good way. Like, I wasn't going to have this preconceived idea of what it was going to be like. I was just like, whatever happens, and I'm going to make the most of my time here, because I knew I wasn't going to be living there permanently anyways. And so I was like, I'm just going to make the most of whatever comes my way in this city. And it was kind of funny, actually, when I first got there. I'm from the South, and so I'm this friendly, like, waving at people, smiling, talking to everyone person. And everyone, like, some people really were friendly back, and other people were like, what the heck?
Yeah, like, I know.
Person? And they would just give me weird stares. And I made a lot of friends in the subway, though. And so I actually got involved with the church there, and I was telling them about my kind of first week experiences and making these friends in the subway and everything. They're like, you did what? You talked to people in the subway? And I'm like, yeah, don't you do that? And they're like, no one does that. So I think it was just cool to get to see on a daily basis, like, as soon as you walk out of the door, you're surrounded by life and so many different unique people. Yeah. And there's honestly not many places like that where you just walk out your front door and you're immersed in the day, right away. Yeah. And so that alone was just really cool to kind of feel like you're at the center of the world almost. There's all this hustle and bustle around you. But some of the funnest moments I got to go see a lot of cool live music. And the funny thing about New York is it's such a big city, but all these things happen in really small, intimate spaces. And so that, I think, adds to the magic, because you realize I'm in this massive city, but all these magical moments are happening in these small, intimate spaces where everyone's kind of packed into a room watching this girl sing guitar, or, you're on the subway in this crowded little box and everybody's right there next to each other. And so in a way, it feels really small in those moments because it's kind of that intimate, magical experience with other people so close by. But at the same time, you're a part of something really big.
Yeah.
So that whole complex was really unique.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to figure out when you first get there, because I think most New Yorkers are just, it's not that they have this veneer about them, but I think it's just because the city makes you that way, because it's so active that you just have to maintain your focus on what you're doing. But but a lot of them, you find that when a crisis comes up, they all rally. It's just if somebody's in need of help, it's like everybody just says, okay, it's time for me to up my game.
Yep. I witnessed a car wreck on right on the street that I was walking down one time, and multiple people immediately stopped and were right there because there's so many people around, and they were checking on the guy, making sure he's okay, calling the police, whatever. And so there's like 10-15 people stopped at this one car wreck. And it's like you said, it's like people come together when they see something going on. So
yeah. Hey, tell me about your regiment now that you've come back from the city, and what's your day like, as far as, do you stick to a very, very regimented plan, or is it in flux so much that it's different every single day? Do you try to have like major disciplines in your life to keep yourself on point, schedules, calendars, things like that? How do you operate?
So I operate by this iCalendar on my iPhone.
Okay,
and multiple lists in my notes.
Yeah. Use Evernote? What do you use?
I just use the Notes app on the actual iPhone.
Yeah. Great.
And I just make lists in there and then knock them off and delete them as I go by my day. But no, it's so different every day. Like, I do have a couple things I try to keep routine, which is I try to work out at least 3 to 5 times a week if I can, if I'm not traveling.
What do you do? What kind of workouts do you do?
So I do jazzercise.
All right.
You ever heard of that?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah.
I hate running and I love dancing. And so I've found it to be an incredible workout, and it's the most fun. So I try to do that a couple times a week.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do yoga. Yoga. I've been doing it for like 15 years or more.
Yeah, I love yoga too. I just don't have a place nearby to where I live. And so it's hard to
But it's good that you have something like, especially for singers, like you need to have a workout regimen,
Yeah.
So okay, so you do your workouts, and what else? How does the rest of the day and the week go?
So another thing I keep consistent is I try to have a quiet time every day.
Oh, great.
So I'm a believer, and so I have like my space where I get to just kind of be one with God and be still and, recite or meditate on scripture or whatever I'm learning in life right now.
Right.
And just kind of have that peaceful space, whether it's for 30 minutes or an hour or whatever in my day, to just kind of like reset and refocus. So that is something that I really love to do. And if I kind of get off schedule of not doing that for a couple of days, I'm like, why do I feel so icky? And then I'm like, oh, I haven't spent any quiet time.
Right.
Getting back rejuvenated.
Yeah.
So those are I'd say the 2 main things that I really try to keep on top of to keep me sane and healthy physically and mentally. And then apart from that, my week and days are just so random. I've been doing a lot of traveling even once I got back from New York. And so I wasn't home really in South Carolina for a couple months. Like, I would be home for 2 days and then leave again, or be home for a week and then leave again. I was in Nashville and Charleston, and I think I ended up going back to New York for another trip. And so just lots of up and down. Oh, I was in California. So lots of random travel things. And now I think I've been home for like 3 weeks straight, which is like crazy and awesome.
Yeah.
And so when I'm home, I definitely have like a more kind of daily thing where on Mondays, I like to have kind of a reset day where I get a bunch of computer stuff knocked out of the way, emails, scheduling, promotions. So then on Tuesday, I can be more creative and whatever that looks like, whether I'm having a co-write with somebody, or I'm just learning some piano stuff myself, or I'm outside playing guitar.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then I also, I try to fit in social time and hang out with friends and family, which is harder than it seems.
Yes. Yeah.
And I have a new puppy, actually. So I'm training her.
Okay.
She's a yellow Labrador. Her name is Zella. So we spend a lot of time together. Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just kind of up and down, and always working on something and trying to fit in that social and rest time as well.
Yeah, I think the travel thing is difficult, I think, for me at times, because it does throw my game a lot, because I do kind of the same thing I start off my first 30 to 40 minutes are prayer every morning, and I'm just like focused on you know, the Lord and how he's going to help me through the day. And then, and then that comes first. And I don't discount that when I'm traveling, but it just throws like my whole thing off a little bit, you know, because it's just different, because you're like, you know, you're dealing with alarms and planes or schedules or whatever it is, you know.
And you're so on the go, it's kind of hard to quiet your mind sometimes to really go to that place.
Yeah, and I go through that I'm always trying to help artists. And this is one of the reasons I'm asking you this question about how you manage your day is a lot of them really struggle. And I can tell when they're trying to be on this show, and it's just like they get disconnected from their, you know, from their schedule, and, you know, they forgot or whatever. It's just chaos out there sometimes, you know. So I do use the alarms too on the calendar, which is really helpful. You know, just like the beginning of the day, it's like, all right, I put them all in. So just reminders all day long, you know.
Yes.
It really
I'm definitely a user of the calendar, the alarms, the notes. And I used to be very like, I would compartmentalize my day, you know, in these sections, and I still do that a lot, but I'm also trying to kind of like learn and do things on the go. I used to be very much so like, if I'm in this zone, I can't do anything else, you know, my brain can't go there, but I'm kind of having to readjust and learn, okay, you can kind of compartmentalize, like, this is going to be a creative day. This is going to be a computer day. This is going to be a social friendly day. Yeah. But at the same time, there's things that pop up sometimes that you have to do or deal with, or, you know, you got to take the call, you got to send the email, and you have to be able to like not freak out. You know, you have to adjust, like, okay, say it's a social day and this work email pops up and you got to answer a booking question. You have to be able to go there for a minute and then rejoin back to the present moment. Yeah,
I'm just jotting that down because for all of you folks who just let that, you know, glance over your mind, compartmentalize, and that is such a wise move, because if you can do things in batches, most all of the high performers out there do that same thing. It's like put all of your same type of work together and do it all at once rather than skipping around, because that just crushes your productivity. Oh, absolutely. When you're like being pulled, because like you said, you're going to have things come up anyway, but like for me, I try to do all my shows like in one batch, and the editing goes out and that gets all done by some, and you know, you just focus your creativity in pockets. And it becomes stronger, I think, when you do that. Yeah, because you're able to really go there rather than your brain pinging around like this. You know, if you know, okay, for this afternoon, I'm doing this, your brain is like, let's do it. Let's go there. But if you don't really know what zone you're in, then it's kind of hard for me anyways to focus. Yeah, and you don't want to get caught up in the undertow. Here we go. You haven't even left yet, and it already hurts. You haven't even called yet, and my throat already burns. And every time you touch me, I feel like crying. 'Cause every time you love me, I know we're hiding, yeah, we're making the most of our time. I'm holding on to messages you write. The undertow is all I know, and it's taking me down. The undertow is all I know, but I'm not afraid to drown. The undertow, it pulls us close, and then it rips you from my hands. The undertow is all I know. I'll never touch land, but I'll never stop breathing. I'll never stop breathing. I haven't even told you, but it's already clear. I haven't even known you but a few quick years. And every time you come through, I feel like dying. 'Cause when the sun comes through, you keep on driving. Yeah, we're making the most of our time.
finally found us. A cold black sky surrounds us. I think the pain has finally found us. The undertow is all I know, and it's taking me down. The undertow is all I know, but I'm quite afraid to drown. The undertow, it pulls us close, and then it rips you from my hands. The undertow is all I know. I never touch land, but I never stop breathing. I'll never stop breathing. I'll never stop breathing.
You know, I got to tell you, Kylie, I think that might be my favorite one so far. I mean, that is really, really special. The mood of that is just really, really amazing. Can you share the motivation, anything metaphorically you want to share about that? And because it's beautiful, and the title is great. I love good titles.
Thank you. So it's funny you say that about the title. I actually had the word undertow pop into my head for the longest time, and I was like, I want to write a song around that title, that word, because it just kept coming to me, and I was like, that's such just a powerful word, you know. And so eventually I just kind of had it in the back of my mind, like one day maybe I'll write a song about this if I have any experiences to go with it. And then I ended up in this sort of like long distance back and forth relationship where it always felt like we were kind of this push and pull tug. Like it was like we couldn't come up for air, like nothing ever worked out for us. Yeah. And so I ended up writing the song about that relationship. But in hindsight, I realized, you know, life is like that. And so there's these moments we reach in life where our head and our heart are kind of pulling us in different directions. And it almost feels like we're being taken in this undertow. And so the line in there where it's like, you know, I'll never stop breathing, like I'll never touch land, but I'll never stop breathing. It's that kind of fight or flight instinct we have when we're going through all these emotions of like, this is really hard, but I'm never going to give up type thing, you know? And so kind of, it's in a relational standpoint, but also just in a life standpoint to just keep swimming, which sounds silly, you know, like Dory, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. But truly, you know, to keep our head above the water, all we have to do is just keep fighting. And, you know, for love, that's a good cause to fight for. Yeah,
very well put. It truly is one of the most dear things you could ever fight for, because you just don't want to fail at that. Nobody wants to fail at love, you know. And and I think for most of us though, it's timing, and it's being like chemically and you know, interwovenly compatible. Like, and it's like we don't really know, and it's like, you know, people are different maturities at different times in life, and you know, synergistically, it's kind of magical when it all fires the way it's supposed to. Yeah, you know, definitely. And it's just like the timing thing is everything. So you know, so I mean, I wish you all the best in that. But you got Zella right now, so
yes, I have my puppy. That's all I need. Jesus and my dog.
There you go. Now write that down. That's going to be your next one. Jesus and my dog. Hey, I want to ask you. I want to take you into the studio a little bit, and before we do that, let's talk about your process currently of when it's time to write, and you know, you've assembled some ideas and songs. Like, what is your go-to strategy for how to get ready for the studio, making demos and like getting it all like cohesively together? What's your process? How do you go about it?
So it totally depends on the kind of song that I want to make. Like if I'm going with organic live instruments and that kind of feel, then what I love to do is say I've written a song, or me and someone else have written a song, and we just have the bare bones, like an acoustic guitar or a piano and a vocal. Then what I'll do next in that process is take it to my band, and we'll have like an arrangement day or a session where we get together and they just kind of jam on it, and we throw out ideas for track arrangement. And we recently did that with 2 new songs that I have that are going to come out probably later this year. And we just spent the whole day kind of just like messing around. We just tried whatever. I played the song and they just started adding stuff in. And then I would be like, yeah, I love that. Let's keep that. Or I don't really like that. Let's try a different drum vibe, until we all had these little distinct parts that we loved about the song.
Right.
And then at that point, once we all feel collectively like this is the best the song could be, and then we love this arrangement, then I'd take it into the studio and flesh out and record all those parts, sometimes all together or individually, tracking each instrument, and then later on go back and do the vocals. If it's a more kind of pop production track style song, then a lot of the times recently I've been collaborating with other writers and people who are producers. And so we'll kind of write and build the track as we're writing the song in the same session.
Right.
And so there'll be somebody, like 1 or 2 people who are working on lyrics and melody, and then a person who's working on building out that production and track as we're all writing the song and writing the parts for it. And so then by the end of that session, it's kind of like, oh, well, we've pretty much got the song done. We just need to finalize and fine tune and finesse it,
Yeah. Don't you find that when that happens like that, what you just described as far as building arrangements with a song, aren't the greatest surprises like uncovered in those sessions?
Yeah.
I never thought this would be in here. Like we put a mandolin in here or something.
Yep.
It's like what,
I love that.
And
stuff.
it's like it made the song. Like it didn't make the song, but it's such an important component that came out that everything else like just fell into place like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like those little parts that really, like you said, that kind of makes the song. It makes it feel complete. And without it, it's like, yeah, it's really good, but it's like missing that little touch. And then you add the mandolin or the saxophone or the background vocals, and it's like, oh, yeah, now it's done.
And then everything else seems to shine even more,
Yes.
Hey, tell me about your band. Like, what's the instrumentation? And like, are you guys like, have they been with you for a while? Is this something you put together recently, or?
So I've known most of them for about anywhere from 2 to 5 years now. We haven't all played together collectively, except for like the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And they're just incredible people and incredible musicians. So right now I have kind of like in my band, and I do different things where I'll play with a trio, or I'll play solo, or I'll play with my full band. So, these people and parts kind of come in and out, but the full scope of it is drums, bass, electric guitar, saxophone, and then a background vocalist, and then myself on the keys and singing the main vocals.
Wow, nice. Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do they like touring with you? They must love it.
They're so fun. I tour more with the trio because it's just easier, like scheduling wise, and it's kind of hard with a whole bunch of people, but I usually bring a bass player and a drummer, and then I play the keys, and we have an absolute blast. Like, they're just such good guys and so much fun. We actually were in Atlanta for a festival a couple weekends ago, and it got completely stormed out. Like, it rained torrential downpour, and we still had just the most fun. Like, I got to play 2 songs, and then the whole festival was canceled, but that whole day, driving up and back and standing in the rain, like, it was just 10 times more fun having them around,
Yeah. Hey, tell me about the studio. Like, when you go into the studio, who do you have a specific producer that works on this? Do you use different people for different projects, or how does it all come about when you're laying down tracks? Like, what goes on there?
I use different people. There's people that I've worked with since I was like 14 that I still work with on some songs. And then there's people that I've met this year that I'm just now working with on songs.
Yeah.
And again, it kind of just depends on what style of song I'm making. I've been fortunate to meet a lot of really talented producers and people now, and I kind of am able to feel out their vibe. And so if I'm like, okay, I really want to do this pop thing, then I know, oh, that person would be really good at this and they'd have a fun time doing it. Or if I'm doing more jazzy, soulful stuff, I'm like, yeah, I want to use this guy. So it really just depends on the style of the song, but I've got a handful of producers that I work with now that I love.
That's great. I mean, isn't that so valuable though? The tools you pick up. Because most musicians or most producers are musicians in some capacity, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember slugging it out on my own for a long time, you know, in my much younger years, thinking I can do this. And then it's like I finally got in with a real producer, and I just came away like totally stunned, like of how much knowledge I was like a sponge soaking it up. And it wasn't for like 3 or 4 more years when I went back to self-produce something, and I had all these tools now, you know. But I firmly believe in, I mean, not that you shouldn't, but you should really, like a producer brings so much value to a project, you know. It allows you to be just really control your own environment of, I'm here as maybe an executive or an associate producer, but I'm here as the songwriter and the vocalist. And then I'll be the piano player later, right?
Headspaces. Yeah. Like to be a producer and to be an artist and to be a songwriter, you can absolutely be them all. But back to kind of compartmentalizing, you almost have to shut off the different sides of your brain when you're doing one or the other. Because like if I'm producing something and I'm kind of still got my artist hat on, then I'm very particular and I'm like, oh, like, well, that note could be sung better and da-da-da. And if, you know, whereas a producer would be like, that's really good. I think you're just kind of overthinking it. Like and they see the big scope of things. And as an artist, you see all the little details that sometimes can get you caught up or slow you down in the process. And then you lose the mojo. And so it is crazy. I have so much respect for people who produce every day other people's music, because I have the capabilities. Like I'm nowhere near as good as, you know, legitimate, like in studio producers, but that's not something like I'm passionate about, like recording other people's music. I like to be able to do it on my own, but I have so much respect for people who are able to look at someone else's material and see what it needs to shine and kind of push it to get there, or like, you know, ease your anxiety on certain parts and pull you back in moments. It's really kind of like a director position. And then to have the knowledge to actually accomplish what they see is really cool. Yeah,
I think you're wise to do that, because you get too close to your work too, and it becomes like, I've been living with this thing forever, so it's like I don't even know what's good anymore, you know. So when I record, I don't play any guitar. I mean, it's like so rare for me to ever show up with a guitar, except to just show the band like what I'm doing in pre-production, and then we go into cut. But I'm in the vocal booth doing scratch vocals, and then any guitar playing I do either in my own studio or overdub it and everything later, you know, because then you can, like you said, you put the different hat on, you know. I think, what do you say it's time to do You Don't Love Me? I'm a little scared of this one, but You Don't Love Me. Here we go with Kylie.
It was my birthday. You said I'm beautiful. Then in the worst ways, you made me all your own. And by the moonlight, you laid me next to you. Told me that this was just something you had to do. But I don't believe you. It must be lies. It can't be true. Wake me up from this dream. You're not saying what you mean. What do you mean? What do you mean? You don't love me. You don't love me anymore. Don't get me wrong, I know we've been fighting lately. Correct if I'm wrong, you said you'd never stop fighting, baby. For our love, I've never been so blind. Got shot from above and then you said goodbye. But I don't believe you. It must be lies. It can't be true. Wake me up from this dream. You're not saying what you mean. What do you mean? What do you mean? You don't love me. You don't love me. eyes. It can't be true. Wake me up from this dream. You're not saying what you mean. What do you mean? What do you mean? You don't love me. You don't love me anymore. You don't love me. You don't love me anymore.
Okay, there is that new voice I spoke about earlier. Beautiful song.
Thank you.
And yeah, your voice really shines on this. And there's a kind of a there's a closeness to your voice, like you've really recognized the rich and beautiful tones that you have, and you're expressing them in such a way now. And again, time teaches us how to be better singers and embrace the gifts that God gave us on how to use these tools. So was there a moment in the last couple of years that you all of a sudden said, "Hey, what's going on here? There's something new and different happening with my voice"?
Yes, there was actually a very specific moment. This was like 4 or 5 years ago where it first sparked, and then I kind of honed in on it over the last few years. But I was in the studio recording my EP High Dreamer, which came out a long time ago. And there was a specific song on it called Can't Erase It. And I was in the studio not planning to record that song at all. I was just playing it as a warm up for my voice to record a different song. And everybody kind of stopped and was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just this like weird thing I wrote. It's not a big deal. I'm just practicing. I'm warming up." And they're like, "No, you need to do that one." And I was like, "Really?" Because I had kind of been experimenting with this kind of soulful, smoky sounding voice, like pretending I was a 1920s jazz singer, you know, like I was totally going there to this thing that wasn't me. And it ended up bringing out a side of me that I didn't even know I had. And so we recorded that song, and that was the first time you'll really hear any sort of rasp or soulfulness in my voice. And after I recorded that, I was like, wow, I really love singing in this style. And so I started experimenting more. I started listening to more jazz and soul music. And I just got super inspired and started playing with my own voice and found all these qualities that I was like, I didn't even know that was there. And this is really, that's the whole part of the journey of finding who you are as a person and an artist. You have to try these different things to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I realized, oh my gosh, I love singing like this. This is the most at ease that I've felt singing. It feels natural for my voice and it sounds really awesome. And so I just started experimenting more and more. Then I actually went through some kind of vocal strain and like acid reflux issues where I lost a little bit of my voice for a period of time. And so I had to get sinus surgery because I had all these issues and different things. And so when I came out of that, it's like I had to relearn how to use my voice again. And that's when I even had a higher range and had more range to sing high notes and these soft, silky notes mixed with the raspy tones. And so just like you said, time and playing shows and experimenting and writing more songs in that style helped me really develop and like strengthen my style of singing.
That must have been very frightening for you because you had to have like the, going under, surgery. And it's like,
oh yeah,
as a singer, you don't know what's going to happen. It's like,
absolutely.
And it's like, I don't think it ever occurs to any of us that my voice can get better or I'll feel something. It's always like dramatic to say, well, I'm going to not be able to sing again or something. But thank God that worked out the way you wanted. But it's a really, really great spot for you to be in. And it just occurred to me as you're saying that if it's effortless for you to sing, that's your place.
That's your sweet spot.
Yeah, because it's like, this is not work. I don't have to kill myself over this. This is really great.
And you shouldn't have to. If you're straining your voice, that's probably not the range or style you should be singing in. We can always push ourselves and expand our voice and train ourselves to do new things. But when you're singing on stage specifically or in the studio, it should feel good.
Yeah. Hey, what is your favorite thing to do outside of music when you need to just chill and relax and and just do some things for yourself. What do you like to do?
I love to read. So I love reading books, kind of like fantasy, action, romance, fun books like that.
Okay.
I love to be outside. Like I love the water. I love the beach. So just sitting anywhere outside on a warm day that has a cool breeze, that is perfect for me. Taking my acoustic guitar out there and just honestly strumming around, playing old songs in the sunshine. Yeah. That's like one of my favorite things to do.
Awesome. What about favorite venues? Like out of all the places, and I know it's kind of like they're all different experiences, but is there a specific venue that you like more than another? Like, is there a favorite that, you know, whether it's a festival, a church, or whatever it could be? Like,
yeah. So have you heard of the organization Sofar Sounds?
No.
So I think you would really love them, and you should definitely look them up. It's basically a house concert organization that started in London, and they have concerts all over the world, not just in homes, but they're in warehouses, coffee shops, rooftop decks, like people's backyards, and they're in all these crazy, awesome, intimate spaces. And there's usually about 75 to 150 people at each one, and 3 artists play. And I've done a ton of those in the US and 2 in England. And those are always my favorite environments to play, other than the shows that I curate and set up myself in my hometown, because they create such a space where it's a listening room and you get to share your stories and your songs. And the people that come are genuinely looking for new music and excited to hear from upcoming artists. Yeah. So those environments are just always so warm. It feels like a family. And I love intimate shows like that. But then I also love creating kind of my own concerts. So I like to find, similar to them, random spaces. Like I had a benefit concert in August, and we used this event venue, but it was just this open kind of empty space. And I have some friends who do lighting and sound and all that. And we created this really cool stage with, you know, dim lighting behind. And I had my whole band there, and I just kind of got to create my own environment. And there's probably 150 people at this benefit concert. And that was one of my favorite shows I've ever played. And I have some pictures from it I can send you. Yes. But it was just I like to create like a cozy, welcoming experience where people get to be a part of the music and the night, rather than just me up on a stage, the audience in the crowd, and it's this disconnect. I like it to feel kind of like we're all just hanging out, playing music, sharing stories. Yeah.
I'm so glad you shared that with me, because, you know, that's right up my alley. I mean, I've been kind of like beating the weeds down to find places for not just myself, but I mean, I feel like the value, the currency of music has been like beaten up and undervalued a lot in the past like 10, 20 years. And I think we need, you know, it upsets me when I see these talented artists, playing in places where they're surrounded by TVs, noisy bars, everybody's texting and doing shots and on their phone and watching the game. And it's like, you know, I feel like it's just like, it's just not being underappreciated. So I think rather than change that, like what you suggested is the way to do that. You go and you find places that really people want to hear the music. They want to listen. And a lot of the things I'll do on the dynamics on an acoustic guitar are the silences. And the silences are the most beautiful parts of music sometimes. And it's like, you know, and then in come the harmonics. And you can't do those things in a noisy bar. It's just like, you know, it's like wasted. You have to
just amp everything up to get attention rather than have those subtleties.
Just banging on the guitar and crank your Marshall stack up to compete with everything. So I'm not saying there's no place for that. Some people love that, and that's great. But for a little bit more deeper level of sophistication, if you will, for lack of a better word, that's what's needed, is places like this. So I'm going to check that out. Sofar Sounds. That's awesome. I think we got to play your video now. What do you say? Yay. This is what it's all about, folks. Under the sun.
My favorite place to be is right here. Not thinking about what brings me down. Yeah. My favorite way to be without fear is in the now. I'm learning how. Fast life, no thanks, no, I'm doing just fine. One foot in another, floating, enjoying my freedom, singing off key. I like it better when I'm under the sun. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm under the sun. Ooh, 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 ooh. My soul will tell me what I need to know, where to go with the flow. Open sky, never on my own. Wild like the flowers grow. Fast life, no thanks, no I'm doing just fine. One foot in another, floating, enjoying my freedom, singing off key. I like it better when I'm under the sun. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm under the sun. Ooh, 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 ooh. When I'm under the sun. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm under the sun. Watch me dance in the starlight, do what makes my soul shine. Never ever felt so free. Watch me sip lemonade, make a friend on the way. Never ever felt so me. Watch me dance in the starlight. Ooh, watch me dance. Ooh, watch me dance in the starlight. Watch me dance in the starlight, do what makes my soul shine. Never ever felt so free. Watch me sit in the night, make a friend on the way. Never ever felt so me.
Now, you didn't have any fun doing this video at all, I can tell.
No fun at all. It was
you
just
know?
so boring.
It's like dissecting an old frog. Like, this isn't fun. What's going on here? So tell me, how did the concept come up? And like, tell us about, you know, when you filmed it. Like, can you give us like the day or two that went into this, or how long was it? You know, tell us about the experience.
Yeah, so we filmed this video in two separate experiences. One was in Greenville, South Carolina, and that was all the shots you see of the people in the office. And then the second experience was in California, in Little Corona and Huntington Beach. And it took it was both just like 1 day shoots at separate times. So the one in the office was shot first, and then 2 weeks later, I believe, we shot the other one in California. And the concept was, you know, I wanted to really, when I wanted to do a video for this song, I didn't want it to just be the obvious thing when you first hear the song. You know, if you hear the song without the video, it's kind of just this fun, embracing who you are, having fun in the sun song. You know, it's this happy summer song. And so easily I could have just done lots of shots of me riding around in the car with the windows down, singing in a field, whatever, this fun summer video. And it is a fun summer video, but I wanted to show something deeper than that and like go more into the meaning of the song and just take it a level deeper, because I feel like that's what visuals for songs should do, rather than just give you the obvious of what you've already heard. It should show you kind of another layer deep of what the song is about. And so for the video, I wanted to showcase that, you know, when you embrace your own path and your own personality and you shine your light and you just come fully into places being who you are, it inspires other people to be who they are. You know, it's just like when you share something vulnerable, it inspires somebody else to be able to share and makes them feel comfortable. And so I wanted to, in a kind of a quirky, over the top way, show that, you know, when you are yourself, it inspires other people around you to hopefully be themselves. And so in the video, you can see me being super wacky, you know, and these people in the office are kind of bored or not happy or whatever, just kind of sheltered in themselves. And by the end of the video, they loosen up and their true self comes out. And so it's just really about spreading light and spreading love and having fun.
It's a really, really beautiful video, and it's just, yeah, it is a lot of fun, and it kind of, you're right, it shows who you are. I mean, all you have to do is look at your face and you can see what's going on. You're a very happy individual, you know, which is really important. And I want to also thank you for, on behalf of so many, for the work that you do on some of these fundraisings. I mean, you've been doing this for a while, because I know I picked this up last time we talked, and it's on your website. You've done a lot of things for others. What is your favorite passion for helping others? Do you have a favorite that you kind of have, your heart goes out to as far as doing things for people? Like, what is that?
I mean, if I could do it all, I would help every single cause possible. But I do think it's important to kind of find what really makes your heart break and then go and do whatever it is you can. And so the organization I'm super involved with here in my hometown is called Salvation Army. And they have a rehab facilitation as well as a homeless shelter and a youth kids club and stuff like that. But I really have a heart for the homeless. I always have since I was little, because I think they're just extremely misunderstood, and looked over. And they're just normal people who've had either unfortunate circumstances or some sort of mental instability that's led them to where they are.
Right.
They're just like everyone else, and they deserve to be looked at and talked to and their name repeated back to them. People sometimes take away just that decency. And so I just really have a heart for them, and just kind of really loving on them and helping in whatever way I can with the Salvation Army. They specifically, in my town anyways, have a lot of need for physical volunteers to go and be there in the shelters and help in the kitchen and things like that.
Right.
And they need donations as well. But so that's something that has just always been really important to me. And then also youth. I have a big passion for like the next generation and just kind of showing them that there's a way to live life that's fun and full of joy and pure, I guess for lack of a better word, because there's so much coming at the young kids. I am a young person, but there's so much even more coming at like high school students than when I was in high school, and just so many options of like dark things to get into, drugs, alcohol, whatever to find kind of happiness in. And I just want to hopefully, just pour into them that there's so much more to life. So many people these days are anxious and depressed, and I've been anxious myself. I went through a really dark period of time with that and still struggle sometimes, but to just show that, life is worth living and there's a hope for their future rather than just these immediate kind of emotional experiences they have as kids.
Yeah. That is really awesome. I just love what you're doing. We share a lot of the same passions in that department, and that's amazing. I mean, just to see you give back, your talent is clearly there for you to share with others, and you recognize that, and you're very, very selfless about sharing it, which is really beautiful. So tell us now, as we should really have another hour together, but we don't. But tell us, how can we support Kylie Odetta in her brand new voice, her brand new music, the brand new video? So many good things coming out of the Odetta camp these days.
Thank you.
And by the way, before I forget, tell your mom thank you for doing such a beautiful job raising you. She's really awesome. Yeah.
I will. She will be like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, Lori is Kylie's mom, and she's really sweet, and that's so good to have her on the team, right? I mean,
yes.
Helping support you in all that you're
she's one of my best friends for sure.
That's great. That's really great. So tell us as we're wrapping up, tell us just, you can cap it off by sending out any wishes to the audience that's listening right now, and folks, don't forget you're picking this up on the podcast, but the YouTube channel show will be out after this as well. And share, Kylie, with the audience, what is your ambitions, your wishes for people and your music, and where can we go to support you?
Yes. So I'll start with where you can go to support me, I guess. My main social media channel that I use is Instagram, primarily. So if you follow me on Instagram, I'm always posting updates and just fun random things about my life and stories and videos. So I post a lot about my dog now, fair warning. So my Instagram is just at Kylie Odetta, which is my name. And then I have a website, Facebook. I have my music on Spotify and iTunes and Apple Music, and I think it's on all the music sites. So wherever you like to listen to music, I'm on there. And if I'm not, message me and I'll get on there. But definitely go check out that. Really just by sharing my music with your friends and family or posting it online, it makes a huge difference. And come out to a show if I'm near you. I would love to meet you and see you. But my thing is that I just want people to experience life to the fullest. And so whoever's watching, I hope that this summer specifically and throughout the next year, you are just able to experience freedom and confidence and relaxed joy as you go throughout your life, and that you would know how loved you are by me, by so many people in your life, by the God who created this entire universe, that you are truly unique and special to you. And I just hope that you would embrace the things that make you different and walk confidently in your life.
Awesome. That was really great. Kylie Odetta, always a pleasure to see you. I love what you're doing, love your music, and I just want to wish you all the love, success, and God's blessing as you continue on your journey.
Thank you.
Sunny day. Undertow. You Don't Love Me. And the video, Under the Sun. What a fun time today hanging out with Kylie Odetta and sharing all about her music and the exciting things that have happened to her in the past year. And a total committed creative artist. Such a pleasure to have her on the Dharmic Evolution, another future Dharmic star. So she's on Spotify. She's on all things music. So just, the best thing is just Google Kylie Odetta and find your favorite jam, whatever that is, and she'll be there. Talked about Zella. We talked about her band. We talked about Sofar Sounds. We talked about the Salvation Army and the homeless. Maybe you guys should think a little bit about those things too, especially the homeless. And of course, the Lord. We can't forget the most important thing in our lives. Hey, if you're digging this podcast and it does something for you, please give us a subscribe, rate, and review in iTunes. Really means a lot to the show. And you can also do it on the YouTube channel, the James O'Connor Agency YouTube channel. If you have new content out, please go to our Facebook community page. Dharmic Evolution Facebook community page is there for you fellow artists around the world to post your content. Do you have a new song, a new video, a new album, a new photo shoot? Do you have a gig playing somewhere? Post it on there so the world can help support your artistry. Also for authors, speakers, and thought leaders. That's there for you also. So that's what we do at the Dharmic Evolution and the James O'Connor Agency. So that's a wrap for me today. I'm your host for the Dharmic Evolution, James Kevin O'Connor, singer-songwriter, audio-video artist, master storyteller, and international talent agent. So until the next time when we meet again, I'll either see you on the socials or I'll see you from the stage.